And with that said, let's welcome in the head coach of the men's golf team at Stanford University, Conrad Ray. Coach Ray played at Stanford, was the team captain in 96, 97, became the head coach in 2004, winning the national championship in 07 and 2019. Coach, 19 years at the helm of one of the arguably the most successful men's golf team in the country the last 2 decades. I guess I didn't realize you're that old. 19 years. What's been the key to your success?
Oh gosh, man, I don't know. I guess I've got a patient wife. I don't know. It's been an honor though to be at the helm of Stanford Golf and as I say, have the keys to the bus. I feel like our program has a bunch of rich tradition and a lot. Obviously some great players over the years and even beyond Tiger. You think about players like Lawson Little and Bob Rosberg and Tom Watson, just to name a few. Sandy Tatum. So I feel pretty honored to be able to call a few shots for Stanford Golf, and it's been a great run so far.
Let me ask you, this podcast is really designed for the largest group of single players in the country of golf, and that is the junior golfers. It's the largest space, certainly, for boys and girls. And we really think having you on here is an unbelievable opportunity for the families that listen to this. There seems to be so many misconceptions, and no one really knows the right way necessarily to negotiate going from a 7-year-old to a 17-year-old and playing college golf at one of the most prestigious universities that also has that great golf tradition. Is there something as a head coach that you try to identify with a young junior that puts him so-called on your list of players that you're going to follow?
That's the $1 million question, right? I think that finding great players that fit our program, and every program's a little different because I think that different types of players, different people thrive at different programs. So I think it's not an exact answer for, all schools, but for us, something that we really look towards, and it's a pretty simple trait, and that is just love of the game, like pure love of the game and curiosity around the game. The reason for that is that if that's the leading kind of quality or trait that that a player has, the kid has, that even the family has, that will usually help navigate all that's going to come at them as they start to go up this tighter funnel of golf. That boils that into work ethic. It boils into improving, developing, continuing to evolve, all of those things. I think that's the one thing that we look for. And you couple that with great physical skills or upside. You couple that with good character. You couple that with great academics, which is required at our place. And you usually have a pretty good recipe for success. I think, though, that sometimes junior golf, even though it's become such a big deal, ends up being kind of where people see the destination being versus just a step in the process. So I really think that curiosity and love of the game is one of the most kind of poignant qualities that we can find in a recruit out there. And it's hard to find. I mean, I think that comes in different forms, right? But I think that would be what I'd answer.
Yeah, great answer, Conrad. Hey, this is Roger Nick. Hey, on that note, one of the things we find all the time, or we hear a lot of parents talk about, is tournament play, right? And this idea that, hey, what tournaments to play in and where to play. To your answer, or one of your answers there, which is the curiosity and the love of the game, what would be something that you would tell parents and players about, in what events to play in? Because, we see this idea that, I don't want to play in this event because my rankings go down, or, yada, 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 right? So what would you say would be something that, what would be a great advice about tournament play?
Tournament play to me is one that, again, is dependent on where a person is and where they're at in their evolution. I think that, to me, playing in your backyard and doing well, blooming where you're planted, is something that we use quite a bit. You look at even the great Tiger Woods. He was the best in Orange County before he was the best in LA, before he was the best in California, et cetera, right? I think that should be a goal for most junior golfers, is to really try and be the best player wherever they're at, and then go from there and seek out the best players too. I think that's one of the things that, I find as a common trait with successful golfers, is that they're always trying to play with the best players around them, and wherever that might be. It might be the Alaska Junior Golf Championship. It doesn't have to be there's a lot of different tours out there, but it doesn't have to be the big national junior tour when maybe a student athlete isn't ready to make that jump, or and that all comes with time. I think there is an evolution there that a player has to go through. But the problem is, I see oftentimes parents and juniors they want to skip some steps, and unfortunately, you can go out and try and play a big national junior schedule, finish 35th or 40th every time you tee it up, and you've subsequently spent a lot of money and maybe not gotten the attention of a bunch of golf coaches, which was your intent anyways, to seek maybe playing at the next level. So I think you just have to be careful to be really good, in your area and work from there.
I think the biggest problem, Coach, with the junior game, and certainly living it and seeing it, and with Noda and I have a national stage, it is the idea, and I fall into this. I'm not accusing parents of this, because I fell into it, which is it matters to you. You have to be one of the best at 11, 12, 13, because if you're not going to go to a great Division I school, or whatever you view as a school that you want. That if you are patient and play other sports and let yourself develop at 16, it's going to be too late. And like I said, I'll take responsibility for being that guy. I know that's not the answer any coach wants to hear, but realistically, Coach, how young are you identifying a player that potentially you're going to continue to look at and maybe down the road recruit?
Yeah, I mean, we start tracking scores in high school, right? And obviously there's those outlier situations where kids are winning, kind of wild things at young ages, if you will. Those are always interesting cases. We're really trying to find the cream of the crop. In our situation, you have the academic qualifier, so you take a large percentage of prospects off the page once you start putting them through our academic filters. But, I think that there is a certain amount of identification going on in that, kind of 9th, 10th grade year. I would say, though, the one thing about that is that those kids are identified. It's another to see them play out and to have successful college careers, if that's the goal. Because I think one thing that happens is, there's kind of two ways you can go. You've won that big junior event as a sophomore, and then all the coaches are excited. But if you don't back that up and continue to get better, then you actually become someone that people get a little, I would say skittish on. There's, we just had our tournament this past weekend, and it struck me. I'm walking down the fairway, and, there's a kid that was an AJG All-American, and then there was a kid who was beating him, that big athletic, super green, but from a small town in New Mexico, hitting quality shots and playing with great attitude. And I'm thinking, wow, think about the different paths these two kids have taken. So again, I just don't think there's a right answer in saying, hey, I need to do X, Y, Z to get to a certain place. I mean, there is a certain amount of kind of God-given size and speed and talent that you need if you want to play Division I Power 5 golf. But I do think that can, if you just really stay in your lane and try and get better at the game, and just try and improve as much as you can, the success can come in all forms.